All right, guys. New episode. And I have a question. What do a politician, a Brazilian medium, and a prisoner all have in common?
Bikini wax!
A Brazilian medium such as a Long Island medium.
Yes.
Which is Brazilian.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, they all decided to sue God. And various other things that I'd love to tell you about if you're interested.
Like God?
Like our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. That one. Not him, his dad. But yeah.
Well,
same,
sure.
Same guy.
His dad has the money, I'm sure. Yeah.
You got to go for the money.
Always.
Yeah. So on this episode of True Crime Storytime, we are going to talk about some really bizarre cases that are really for real happening, or have happened, I guess I should say.
I cannot wait.
Get ready. I case briefed these a la law school.
Oh, look at that.
I didn't. Frankie did.
Well.
But let's get into it. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. First one. Gerald Mayo versus Satan and his staff.
Who is his staff? Oh, like
Whoever.
Oh no, staff
No,
members.
I think they mean like
Okay.
his administrative assistants
Okay.
at all, I'm assuming.
Okay.
I don't know. Let's get into it though.
I love this already.
This happened in a U.S. district court for the Western District of Pennsylvania. There is an actual case citation for this that you can look up. It for realsies happened here in the U.S. of A.
Oh my gosh.
In 1971.
In
1971. Okay, so here's what happened. Gerald Mayo, he is a prisoner at Western Penitentiary. He filed pro se against Satan and his staff. He alleged that Satan had violated his constitutional rights. You guys hold it together. I'm not even done yet. That Satan violated his constitutional rights and caused him misery and temptation,
Sure.
ultimately leading to his downfall.
That's Satan's whole job. He's like, bro, that's what I'm here for.
He's like, excuse me, win.
Exactly.
That's a win for me, all right? So he claims Satan had placed deliberate obstacles in his life and was actively working to deny him his civil rights.
Okay.
Yeah. So, weirdly enough, the court treated this like a real case. They were like, for realsies, we're going to do this.
But why?
Well, they did that just long enough to point out how absolutely asinine it is to try to sue Satan, right?
Yeah.
So, anyway, this whole thing, because it's a real life case, they had to give a real life ruling. And so they hinged it on, you can't sue Satan because you cannot properly serve him. I kid you not.
That's the thing. You can't. Where are you gonna start?
Exactly. Service of process is important, you guys.
Yeah.
Very, very important.
You can't go directly into hell. I mean, you can, but I don't think you can come back.
Could you imagine trying to serve? Where do you send it? Okay, like what place to me is hell on earth that I would be like, I know the devil and his staff are here?
They are.
And I would like them to be served.
At the DMV.
100% at the DMV. Or any government agency that you have to, that is like
deal with,
public facing. Like the Social Security Administration.
Oh, man.
You know where I bet Satan is? The IRS. 100%. Looking at y'all out there protecting Satan and his staff.
We know.
I know, right? Okay, so in their ruling and in the hearing, the judge referred to Satan as a, quote, foreign prince, which first of all, love, right? It weirdly aligns with like biblical descriptions.
Foreign prince?
Yeah. Well, he's the prince of darkness,
I guess.
I don't know. It's been a while since I watched Little Nicky, but
yeah.
You get the vibe, right?
I'm going there, and then what was the recent movie? It was the Christmas one with Jack Black.
Oh my God, my kids loved that movie where he tries to write a letter to Santa, but he writes Satan instead.
Was it called Dear? Was it just called Dear Santa or Dear Satan or something?
Maybe.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Same thing, right? Weirdly though, like this is one of those cases that is taught in a lot of law schools Because it is an example of how you have to serve process.
That is
So this is like an
interesting. Okay.
example of
Good
jurisdiction and service of process, right?
Is Satan trying to impede your way?
He's possessed
Oh, no.
le microphone. That's French.
Wow.
Thank
So
you.
cultured.
I'm so cultured. So, can't serve Satan. The case gets dismissed, right?
Sure. Did his filing explain what? So Satan tempted him.
Mm-hmm.
Is he saying like that's why he's in jail?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, so whatever it is that he was in jail for, that was because Satan.
Yeah.
So I'm going to sue him because Satan has to abide by the Constitution?
Obviously, yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So this case kind of talks about jurisdiction, right? We can't have personal jurisdiction over Satan, whom has no known address, which is
Well, sure.
a problem.
Was his argument, but your honor, no weapon formed against me shall prosper?
Honestly, it should have been.
Like,
Excuse me, Your Honor. I said, not today, Satan, and he ignored me.
Yeah.
He was promptly like, actually, it will be today because
will
it's
be
on my
today.
calendar.
Yeah. Like, okay, imagine if
Mm-hmm.
you could serve Satan
Yes.
and his staff.
Mhm.
And then they showed up to court.
Yeah.
So then he's like, he tried to tempt me and he was like, what, impeding my path or whatever and like making my life difficult and blah, blah, blah.
Uh-huh.
And then Satan would be like, guilty as charged. That's my whole vibe.
He'd be like, Your Honor, I plead guilty. Yes.
Yeah,
actually,
that's
yes.
what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do that.
If though that is his job, right?
Mm.
If that is his whole purpose of existence, is he then guilty though? Because that is his job.
Right. Like you knew that. So you're not supposed to tangle with him.
Yeah.
Did you learn nothing from Charlie Daniels?
Obviously not. Well, they weren't in Georgia. So maybe he didn't know.
Okay, he didn't know. Yeah.
He might not have known
Yeah.
because this was Pennsylvania.
Damn.
I don't know what they're doing in Pennsylvania, but they might be playing the fiddle with the devil.
It sounds like it.
Could have got that fiddle of gold,
Yep.
but now he lost his soul. I don't know.
Wow. That's amazing.
They also pointed out that this case also had to be dismissed because the fact that Satan was not properly served also meant that he was not able to retain counsel to represent him.
Well, sure.
Lots of procedural issues with this one, and ultimately that's why it was dismissed.
Who would defend Satan, I wonder? Who would? Jose Baez? Who would Satan retain as counsel?
I imagine there's a young attorney out there looking for some notoriety
Oh, yeah.
that would hop all over that. I mean, we see it all the time, right? Like attorneys will take on high profile cases that they know they're going to lose simply for the name recognition. Who was the girl? Oh my God, we did one about her that she was like handwriting in like gel pen looking for counsel.
Sarah Boone,
Was it Sarah Boone?
She was writing the stuff.
Yeah, and she was
She
like,
did
this is
that-
your opportunity.
Yeah.
Seeking
Yeah.
creative lawyers. And like some
Yeah.
guy who was like basically brand new picked it up and we were like,
He was like,
"Oh."
I'll do it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
probably that too.
Oh,
Probably-
also pro se, if they don't know, is you just represent yourself.
Oh, yes, yeah. So he filed this
Well,
representing himself.
yeah, there were no lawyers who were like, I'll take that on.
No.
They were like,
No.
girl,
They were like,
let's don't do that.
So
Well,
even,
probably the lawyer was like, well, we can't even serve him, so.
yeah, and Gerald Mayo was like, don't care.
Yeah.
Not my problem.
Not my problem.
Yeah, so the gist of this is that Satan is not above the law so long as you can serve process. So we got a hard stop. Don't know if he was guilty or not because we couldn't find him.
Right. Dang.
I know. But don't worry, we'll try again.
Tough break, Gerald Mayo.
So sorry, my guy. You were really onto something though.
Yeah.
All right, next one is Betty Penrose versus God, as in the Father of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Okay.
This was from 1969. It was in a California state court. It's unverified if this one was for realsies or not, or if it was simply like apocryphal, so like more of like an urban legend kind of vibe.
Oh.
But it's referenced frequently, but I couldn't find a site for it.
Oh.
Yeah. So what had happened was Betty Penrose is filing a lawsuit against the Lord,
Yes.
seeking $100,000 in damages after her home was struck by lightning.
Oh.
And she
An
blamed
act of God.
it was an act of God.
Okay.
And so she wanted her money for it. And so I guess instead of suing her insurance company, she was just going straight to the source. She was like, I know who is responsible for this, and he will be held accountable. Yeah.
Like, okay.
So allegedly, because we didn't get to the facts of the case, right? She filed it after lightning struck her home, and she named God directly, right?
Yeah.
But it does bring up the actual legal concept of acts of God. So, like, what's funny about all of these cases that we're going to talk about is, like, they're insane, right? They're crazy, but they actually, like, bring up valid legal points or, like, things that are part of the legal system that, like, could be hashed out. They're just kind of not going about it the right way, and that's what makes it funny.
Yeah.
So acts of God are typically excluded from liability claims, right? So, like, if you and I are in a contract, let's say, and there's a hurricane and I'm going to buy your house and your house blows away, whatever, that's an act of
I'm
God.
not liable for that.
Right. Yeah. Like, so there are
You
some things
will have to take that up with God.
right.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you're like, I'm so sorry, I still want you to buy my home. And I'm like, but there is no home to purchase. And you're like, well, that was an act of God. You can take that up with him. That's essentially what's happening here.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but if you, okay, if you could sue God, though, let's say for one of his acts,
Sure.
the lightning. First of all, do you sue God, as in the Christian God?
Oh.
Do you sue Zeus, God of thunderbolts and lightning? Well, he's the God of the gods, whatever. Which God do you have to get them all in there, or like?
Well, that's true.
If I'm the attorney on this, I'm going to say, listen, if you want to sue God, I got you, okay? But we're going to have to name all of them, because if you picked the wrong one, let's say you wanted to sue Christian God, actually turns out it was Zeus.
He's like, look, you're...
yeah, then we've got to start this whole process over. Exactly.
How do you know?
So I think you got to lump them all in.
Yeah, I think so too. Also, though, I don't know anything about Miss Penrose, but could this have been a smiting?
Ooh.
Did she...
Was she asking for it?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because
I don't know.
You know, may God strike me down. Did she say that prior?
I don't know.
So now we're getting into muddy waters.
Exactly. There was a lot to unpack here, but it got dismissed because, once again, no known address couldn't serve him.
Damn.
I know. I know.
It's really, we should become deities with no known address.
Oh,
Just
what a
get
dream.
away with everything, right?
Well, I saw this meme the other day that was like, you know, if I were a Greek god, I would absolutely behave the same way, because, like, I'm beautiful and all powerful. Please believe that at the slightest inconvenience, I'm making it everyone's problem. Because who's going to stop me?
Exactly.
And they're still going to love me, and they're still going to, like, make sacrifices at my altar because they don't want me to do it again.
Well,
right?
That's true.
Listen, I need attention. And if you deny me, I will act out.
Yeah.
and if there's no one above me to stop it.
And now we know you can't even be
You can't even sue me.
So, yeah. Like, no known address. And, you know, also deity.
Right. I know.
mean, come on. What's to stop you?
Nothing, apparently. All right, let's talk about another one. I wrote down the pronunciations, the phonetic pronunciations of these. I'm still going to butcher it. Don't come for me. I'm going to do my best.
Okay.
Okay. So this is Pavle Mircov versus the Romanian Orthodox Church from 2005. It was filed somewhere in a Romanian court. I don't have a citation for it, but it was reported within the Romanian legal community. So I'm going to assume that it happened. Right? Okay. Because it was reported. So Mircov is a prisoner also, much like our friend, Mr. Mayo.
Yes.
So he sued the Romanian Orthodox Church. He has an interesting spin. He says that his baptism was a contract that obligated God to protect him from Satan. But since Mircov still committed crimes, he argued that God breached that contract. And I was like, you know what, sir? That's creative.
It is.
And I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Let's take a different angle. You're not a criminal, but you are in breach of contract. Right? So he says this baptism was a binding contract. And that God failed to protect him.
Okay.
Because he was in prison. And the gist of it was, if God existed, I wouldn't be here.
Well.
Bold statement.
Bold statement. Now, I feel like God might say, and I don't speak for him, but I think he might say, weren't you the one that promised to give your life up and then you still did?
Well, I don't know. I think
you're in breach of contract, countersued.
I like that. I think he could take but you also have free will route. You know?
Yep.
Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
But the court's response was basically like divine courts aren't enforceable divine contracts aren't enforceable in secular courts.
Well, sure. Whatever you and God worked out.
Yeah, that's literally between you and God.
It's literally between you and God.
But I guess out of this too, so he didn't sue God directly, he sued the church. Because the church speaks for God, right?
Okay.
But they were still just like, dismissed.
Yeah.
They said God's not a legal entity and the church can't be accountable for spiritual failures under secular law. So I thought that was interesting, right? He took a different approach than the other ones.
Yeah, this was not what's God's address? Oh, you don't know it? Well, too bad.
Yeah.
You can't be like 2 pearly gates or whatever.
Yeah, wherever that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
oh my gosh. So the church.
Yeah. So the church was not, well, this is in Romania. So does this apply in the U.S.? I don't know. We could try it. But in Romania, at least, the church is not responsible for God.
Right. Well, okay. So but the church.
Yeah.
Or the church he got baptized at.
That I don't know. I would assume
the church.
I would assume that he had to name a specific one. Yeah, because I feel like that would be the equivalent of being like, I'm suing all of Christianity.
Right.
Can't
really.
It needs you to be a little more specific.
Again, we need an address.
We need an address. God, if you're watching, please drop your address in the comments. Thank you so much.
Please, yes.
Satan as well, just in case. And your staff, if they're located somewhere different, we would like to.
Now, any millennial.
Or an agent, if you've got, an agent that receives process for you, we'll take that address as well.
Now, any millennial could sue the pants off Stickly, because we all know his address.
That's right.
But these we don't.
No.
We don't have them file anywhere.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's that one.
Interesting.
Okay, this one, we're going to throw it on back, way back to the 40s, okay?
Oh.
This happened in a Brazilian civil court in 1944. It is titled the Ghost Rider Lawsuit.
Okay.
And by Ghost Rider, we quite literally mean spirits.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so here's what happened.
Woo.
Yeah, poltergeist, like that.
Okay.
Okay, so there's a medium, and his name is Francisco Candido Javier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds hot.
Right? He wrote some books, and he claimed that they were dictated to him by the spirits of dead authors.
Okay.
Uh-huh. So I guess they were selling well, I'm assuming, because the family of Humberto de Campos sued, demanding copyrights and royalties. I would assume if these books weren't selling, he wouldn't have gotten sued for it, right? So I'm gonna guess this was kind of
They're like,
popping off a little bit.
If you're gonna use his
spirit words, I don't know.
Then I want to get that should be mine. Okay.
So Francisco Javier published over 400 books. That's a lot. That he claimed were channeled from the deceased. The family of Umberto sued him, saying that if their dead relative wrote it, they deserved the royalties.
Well, that's the
Can't
problem
argue with that.
Using spirit books.
Exactly.
Yep.
Except that you can't argue with that because the court was like, no. Because they said a dead person cannot hold a copyright.
Pesky laws.
I know, they'll get you every time, man. So what, I guess, first of all, if he's really doing this, what a moneymaker.
I mean, that's free money, right? Just like, talk to Joan of Arc, sir. Start getting in with all these other people.
Like, can you pick out who you hear from? I'm going to learn can you learn to be a medium?
We will now.
I'll ask Frankie when we're done.
I would like to channel Betty White. I want to do her book.
Yeah. I would like to channel Jesus specifically and be like, sir, explain.
But not deceased, rose again.
Oh, dang, you're right.
See?
I forgot about that. I forgot. Okay.
And again, I can't stress enough, no address.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Okay, so I'll find someone else to channel because I've got questions. Mm-hmm. I want answers. Mm-hmm. You know?
Maybe one of the apostles.
They don't seem as fun.
Well, certainly not, no. But they were there.
Well, but we already know what they said was there.
Well, that's true.
But it's also been is language an issue? Does it have to be an English speaking person? Or when they come through, am I just gonna know, you know?
Well, I think if you're a medium, then you would just
know, right?
Would just know.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, maybe. Okay. Well, if there's like a master class somewhere on how to become a medium, I'm gonna take that. I don't think that's how it works, but just in case, I will be doing a Google search after. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I think also I would probably get scared myself. But
I think I'll probably get scared too. But if I can write some bestsellers that I don't have to come up with the ideas, all I gotta do is just like tippy type those words.
I mean,
I'll do it.
Yeah,
I'll sacrifice.
So okay, so people just liked the books, or they believed that he was actually getting this information from the deceased.
He says he's getting the information from the deceased. But I guess people liked the books. I don't know. Maybe they only bought the books because they were like, what is this deceased person saying? This is also the 40s, so we're not doing like internet, YouTube. Like, you're not Googling stuff, right? I don't know.
400 books.
That's a lot.
In the 40s.
Is a lot.
Are these like...
He might have typed them.
I guess.
Either way, that's still a lot of work. Are they short stories?
Pamphlets? Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. We'll look them up, I guess, and see. Okay, so it was dismissed.
Sure.
They said dead people have no legal standing. Therefore, the family could not claim the works because the spirit could not legally enter a contract. So I guess they were like, if your loved one loved you enough, he would have mediumed to you, but he did not.
He did not. That's true. Yeah.
So yeah.
Sorry. That's a tough break for the family.
It is.
To find out their loved one didn't even love them.
I know.
From the court.
But like, when did the term ghostwriter pop up? Was it from this? I need to know because wow.
Honestly, I would like to know.
I know.
Because, this is like actual.
This is literal ghost writing.
He was like, no, I mean a ghost.
Yeah.
I mean the ghosts.
From beyond the veil or whatever. Whatever's out there. I don't know because I'm not a medium, but I will be.
Yep, exactly.
After I take a master class.
Not yet.
But those are the wild ones we've got for today. There are plenty more out there, but those are some of the big ones. So if you're going to sue somebody, who are you suing?
Out of anybody?
Well, yeah, out of all of the crazy people that we talked about suing.
Well, I'd probably have to go with, if I could find
We're going to assume that service of process isn't an issue here.
Okay. I mean, I think if we could nail down the devil.
Really?
You know, because then I think we would be changing a lot of how he is forced to operate.
That is true. I would go straight to the source. I would go God, and I would do all of them.
Okay.
Because presumably, right, God was also the creator of the devil. So you get them both.
There you go.
All in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
It just seems like a good place to start. You know, go big or go home.
That's true. I would also consider adding, we didn't talk about this, but that bird.
Yeah.
To the list, we do have an address. He appears to live here. But does not attack the window until we begin recording.
Every single time. It's like he knows. Perhaps he's possessed. Do you think he's possessed and he's trying to ghostwrite for the show, and maybe we're blocking him, but he's coming to assist?
There you go.
We'll find out after we take our medium master
There you
class.
go. Yeah, that's where you need to channel the bird. I think we could get him at the very least for menacing. Perhaps we should call 100%. Charlie Day. He is the professional in bird law.
Yeah. Charlie, if you're available, we need your help. This is important.
Very important.
Of the utmost importance, some would say.
Yeah.
So, that's that. And have you guys ever wanted to sue someone ridiculous? If so, leave us a comment and let us know.
Let us know. Or do you know of any other crazy ones that would be fun to talk about?
So drop those too. We want them.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.